One of my favorite time management strategies is bullet journaling. This is a very useful method when you feel like you're so busy all the time that you're just drowning in endless to-do lists that you can't keep up with. This method helps with task prioritization and with making progress in any aspect of your life, really. The method stems from this New York Times bestseller, The Bullet Journal Method, Track the Past, Order the Present, Design the Future, by Ryder Carroll. It's available on Amazon, and I link to it in the description. This is an image of it on my Amazon Kindle. Up until this year, I used to do paper journaling. And as a yearly ritual, at the start of every year, I would get a brand new journal, such as this one depicted here, and start a new bullet journal for the upcoming year. One of my favorites is the one depicted here. This one is the Clever Fox Weekly Planner Pro with time slots. And it has several features that I really like. For example, it has this awareness and self-discovery page. It has this daily rituals page at the beginning. It has a vision board layout where you can lay out your vision board for the upcoming year. It also has what I want to do with my life, what I want my life to be like spreads, and 1-year goal spreads. And so it also has 3-month goal layouts with my mind map, a place to draw out your mind map. And so it has other features too that I've always really liked, including this feature here, the monthly review, where you go back and review your big wins and your life balance wheel. That's another feature that's really neat about this particular spread. And then there's this monthly review page. Another feature that I really like about this particular type of bullet journal is the weekly spread. So this is an example of its weekly spread where it has each day a place to list your top 3 priorities, and then from 6 a.m. onward, time slots to plan every single day of the week. It also has a weekly review. It has some blank space to add notes, but it also has this week's priorities over here on the left. It has work-life balance. It has a work to-do list and a personal to-do list, along with a habit tracker, all in one big spread for the week. Now, I purchased this paper journal, the Clever Fox Pro, last year to start my new year. And the reason why it's mostly blank is because this past year I discovered a really neat alternative to paper journaling, and that is the ReMarkable Paper Pro tablet. This tablet allows you to do everything that I just showed in the paper journal and more. So some advantages of the ReMarkable Paper Pro are that it travels really well. It's very light, it's very thin. It fits into any bag that you want to carry onto a plane or travel around with. It even fits into a purse. And so it travels really well, allowing you to take your bullet journaling with you on the road, wherever in the world you might go. Notice how with a paper journal, that's a lot more difficult. It's more bulky, it's heavier, it's hard to travel with. And you definitely can't take all of your journals from all of your past years with you on the road when you travel. But with the ReMarkable Paper Pro, you can do that. You can organize all of your past year's bullet journals into folders so that you can take all of your past bullet journals with you on the road. That's one great feature. Some other great features of the ReMarkable Paper Pro are that you can erase things and start over. So if you wrote something and you think you made a mistake, you can easily just erase it and begin again without ruining the rest of your journal. You can also copy and paste things. So if you make a drawing or if you create a layout or a template that you really like, you can copy and paste it onto new pages. So let's get started with how to set up a bullet journal using the ReMarkable Paper Pro. One of the important elements of a bullet journal is the bullet journal key. So let me open up my bullet journal here and just get started on how you would go about creating a bullet journal key using the ReMarkable Paper Pro tablet. What I'm showing you here is an already completed bullet journal key in my ReMarkable Paper Pro. I'll go ahead and start over with a blank page so that you can see how you go about doing this in the ReMarkable Paper Pro. What I'm going to do is close this and start over with a blank page. So in my files, I've already set up some folders, one called journaling and one called setting up a bullet journal, where I have a page for bullet journal key. So if I click that, that is currently just a blank page where I could start from scratch in creating my bullet journal key. So one of the really neat things about the ReMarkable Paper Pro tablet is that you write on it like you would on a piece of paper. So you have a pen and you can choose your writing utensil. So right now I have it selected to be a pen, a ballpoint pen. This is a highlighter tool, and just to illustrate, it can highlight. I have it set to highlight in yellow right now. You can erase what you did, including highlights, using the back of the pen, or there's also an undo button. I'm going to change the highlighter to a calligraphy pen, and I'm going to select it to be mid-range in terms of its width, and I'm going to have it be in the color black. And I'm going to start out my page with some lines. And another neat feature of the bullet journaling with the ReMarkable Paper Pro tablet is that when you make a line, you can straighten it. So let me show you that again. I'm just going to click undo. That's another way that you can undo work if you're not satisfied with it. When I draw a line, if I just hold it, it will automatically straighten that line for me. And I actually think I want my line to be thicker than this. So I'm going to go back and change my pen setting to have a thicker line to it. And now I'm going to start over again with a thicker line, and I'm going to let it straighten. And then what I'm gonna do is copy paste. So a neat feature of the ReMarkable Paper Pro is that you can copy and paste things that you like. And so by selecting it with this selection tool, what I can do is click copy, and then I can just use my pen to paste that line. And then I can get the same line of the same length exactly below my first line, because I'm aiming to have 2 lines there. Just like that. And so then I can take my pen and write out key. And I actually don't like the way that looks. I think maybe that's thicker than I wanted it. So I'm going to undo that, change my pen to medium, and start over and rewrite it. And another neat feature of the ReMarkable Paper Pro is that you can move things around. You can cut things. So this is an erase tool, which will let me erase part of the lines if I kind of want to cut them down a little bit to make those lines shorter. And if I decide I want to move this whole section, so I think maybe I'll make them just a little bit shorter, and then I'm going to select this whole section because I kind of want to move it to be more in the center, then I can do that. So you see, you can move things around on the page with the ReMarkable Paper Pro in a way that you cannot do with actual paper and pen. And so that's another neat feature that I really love about bullet journaling with the ReMarkable Paper Pro. So when you create a key, what you're essentially doing is you're deciding what symbols you want to create and what each symbol is going to stand for. So my first symbol is just going to be a box. And so I'm just going to, oops, I didn't have it set on pen. I'm going to set it on a ballpoint pen here. So ballpoint pen, And I think I'm going to set it on medium thickness here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a box. And with the ReMarkable Paper Pro, again, a neat feature is that you can erase what you did. You can also have it make your lines straight by holding down. So you see how that made that line nice and straight for me. And I can do that to create my box. And if I don't like my box, I can just erase it and start over if it's not really the way that I want my box to look. And honestly, I don't think that's how I want my box to look, so I'm going to use my eraser tool here. I'm going to erase it, and I'm going to start over. I'm going to put a line here, put a line here. Don't like that line, it didn't turn out straight. A line here. Get it nice and straight. A line here. A line here to create my box. And then if I just want to get it more perfect, I can use that tool to get it more perfect. One of the neat facets, again, of the ReMarkable Paper Pro is that you can not only move things around, so if I want this to move, say, into this spot here, but you can resize things. And so I can grab the corner and shrink it if I want, or make it larger. And so that's another really neat feature. And so I'm going to shrink this box a bit because I think I want it to be about that size. And I'm going to try to move it into the ideal spot where I'd like it to be, maybe about right there. Then I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to write next to that symbol, the box symbol, what I want that to represent. And for me, I want that to represent tasks that I need to do. Then what I can do is I can copy this box by selecting it, clicking on copy, and then using my pen to put it in a different spot. And so I kind of want this copied box to go underneath that box. And then I'm going to copy it again. I'm going to paste it again. Paste it using the pen tool by just holding down what I've copied and putting it there. And then I can move it around by just moving the pen around. And so I'm just going to move it to about there. And then I'd like to have a fourth box. So I'm going to click my pen to paste another copy of this box right there. And I can get them to align more perfectly using these tools later on if I want. But for right now, I'm going to change some of these symbols. So a box with a line through it, and whoops, I didn't select the right tool. So I want to select my pen and put a diagonal line through my box there to indicate tasks in progress. So I use a box with a line through it to indicate when my tasks are in progress. And then I use a filled box. So I'll completely color in and fill my box to indicate that a task is completed. So there's my filled box, and that means task completed. Then I'm going to use an arrow, and I don't like how that turned out, so I'm going to undo it. I'm going to try to make it straight, kind of in the middle. There we go. I'm going to make an arrow in the box to indicate tasks migrated. Now, task migration is part of the bullet journaling method, which you can read about in the book that I linked to earlier on in this video. And migration is a task that you typically do every single month to decide which tasks are important enough to migrate into the next month and which should be discarded. So that's part of the bullet journaling method. And this is how I symbolize that in my key. Now, another neat feature of the ReMarkable Paper Pro is that when you draw a circle, so if I want to draw a circle, if I just hold it, and it didn't quite do that there, so I'm going to undo it, it will make the circle more perfect than the way I was able to draw it with my hand. So there, you could see it there. And so I like that circle. That circle ended up perfect, but I want to move it to be better aligned with my other symbols and maybe shrink it just a little bit. And so I can play around with it. I have that flexibility with the ReMarkable Paper Pro to resize it, move it. I'm going to use this circle in my key to indicate a meeting or an appointment. And so I'm going to log that next. Meeting / appointment. Then I'm going to do a triangle for event. I'm going to let it straighten my line for me. And I'm pretty happy with that triangle. I think I might just want to move it a little bit. So like that, and write down event. Then I keep going. I use a dot for my notes and a dash for my subnotes. I create an exclamation point to signify that something's really important. So I'll just draw that here and write down important. And again, you can always resize or move things with the ReMarkable Paper Pro. And I don't like how that did that, so I'll redo it. Start over. You can also change orientation and turn things around like you see me doing here with that exclamation point. Then I'm going to do a clock symbol is something that I like to use for a deadline. And so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this circle, copy it, paste it over here, and I'm going to draw a little clock inside of it. I get it in the spot that I want it to be in. And so my little clock symbol is just going to look something like this. And that signifies deadline. And then for canceled, what I do is I just write the word canceled with a strike through, because the strike through is going to be the symbol for an event or anything on my in my journal that gets canceled. I also like to use a light bulb symbol for bright ideas. So I'm going to draw out a light bulb symbol next. And I like to give my light bulb symbol just a little color. So with the ReMarkable Paper Pro, it does contain color. And so I use the highlighter tool a lot for color. And I'll choose the color yellow for this and just color in that light bulb symbol that I just drew in the color yellow. So that whenever I use a light bulb symbol, it is in the color yellow, like a bright, shining as my little symbol for idea. When I get a good idea, I like to mark it down in my bullet journal so I don't forget it or lose track of it. So that's the symbol for that. For reminders, I like to draw out a little bell. So I'm going to do that next. I'm just going to hand draw a little bell. Though in a later video, I'm going to show how you can use stencils and tracing paper to create little icons that you can then copy and reuse in your bullet journal. And that can be a super efficient and very neat way of going about making these kinds of little icons, like, say, a little bell symbol. Because drawing things out, I'm not an artist, and so it can be imperfect at first. You might want to redo it, try again. You can use stencils to create a whole library of icons that you truly love and can then reuse. And there we go. We have a bullet journal key to start off our bullet journal. So in my next video, I'll show how to get started with a year overview or your future log for bullet journaling with the ReMarkable Paper Pro. So see the next video for some more templates and methods of getting started with bullet journaling with the ReMarkable Paper Pro.